Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. I hope you're all doing awesome this fine Wednesday morning. Kind of just getting things rolling here, getting situated. I hope you're all off to a great start of the day. If it's the start of your day, if it's the end of your day, I hope your day was awesome as well. I'm also hoping that we have better luck with the live stream this time than we had last week. If you were in the live last week, you'll know that it was a bit of a disaster due to connection issues and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to see what happens. I've restarted everything I can possibly restart, and hopefully everything continues. So what are you guys up to this morning or this day? What's going on? What's on your workbench? My workbench right now consists of, well, it's empty at the moment. Except for an unused neck rest. That's because the acoustic guitar, well, it's almost done. It's that close. It's that close. Harry Dude's here. What's up? Harry Dude says, you seem to have more issues with the Facebook streams than the YouTube streams. I agree with that. And again, that is kind of making me reconsider moving to all Facebook live streams. Or no, sorry, YouTube live streams. I think that is probably going to happen. Maybe the beginning of the year we'll move all to the Facebook ones for that exact reason. Because I've noticed that too. Seems like, I mean, I still have issues with these once in a while, but it does seem like the Facebook ones are more prone to problems. So if you have an objection to that, let me know. Because I do like to try to be able to catch everybody. And if for some reason you can't tune in here, let me know. But I am very strongly considering moving everything to this platform due to those issues. So, but I'll let you know for sure. We still got another, what, at least one more, maybe two more live streams here on YouTube to make that decision. So, but I want to know if you object one way or another. Let me know, because I don't want to leave anybody out. But I also don't want to have those kind of issues that we were faced with, or that we're oftentimes faced with. Oh, let's see. Neptunes is here. Neptunes, what's up, dude? Harry Dude says, working on more stage lights. Ah. Fun. All those newfangled robotic light things. More stuff to go wrong. But that keeps you busy, so that's good. Neptune says, hey, Harry. Neptunes gives the old woohoo. Right on. So that is a vote for all YouTube streams. I think, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's the way we're going to go. Paul's here. Paul says, hello, all. Paul says, thanks for the offer of advice on the YouTube videos for GGBO. Hey, you're welcome, man. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I will get in there maybe this afternoon and check it out. I did see the little demo that you posted. It sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing your video. And I want to encourage everybody else. Go over, check out Paul's video. Go over to the Great Guitar Build-Off website and check out his entry. It's pretty cool. Harry Dude says, hey, Neptunes. Harry Dude says, ooh, I almost choked. You ever get that where you're like, you can feel you almost choked? Facebook, Harry Dude says, Facebook's dying. Noticed a lot less engagement on my business pages over the last year. I've noticed a little bit of fluctuation as well on my page. But, I mean, I'll still continue to post things over there. as of right now, the only thing I'm considering is just all of the live streams here, which I like it. Paul says, thanks. The guy actually approached me to make him a guitar afterwards. Going to do it with a big discount. Oh, man, that's awesome. So you got a sale out of the deal. That's so cool. Congrats, man. That's great. Yeah, I'm itching to get back to an electric build as well. Trying to get this acoustic done. Right now, the update for you guys, it is not on the workbench. It is in a case that doesn't quite fit it yet. I'll have to get a different case for the OM size. But as soon as we're done here, I'm heading over to my friend Matt's over at Zimbelman Guitars, and I need to use his bridge pin reamer. That's a tool that I don't have yet, mainly because they're really expensive, and I kind of need them if I'm going to build another acoustic, but right now I just haven't bought those. So I'm heading over to his house, and or his shop, I guess, and I'm going to ream the bridge pin holes. Everything is together. I haven't posted a whole lot of updates on that recently, but the finish is cured. I've buffed it out. The bridge is glued on. The neck is glued on. The frets are in. And now the saddle slot's cut. All I need to do is ream these bridge pin holes. Then I need to make the saddle and make the nut. Probably just going to rough them out for now. There it is. Excuse me. Probably just going to rough them out, get them roughly to where they need to be so I can string it up and hear what it sounds like. And then I'll probably have to do some fine tuning and all that. But man, it is super close. So I'm super excited. Trying to get that wrapped up. I want to maybe wrap it up by the end of this week. I should be able to, I think. I don't think the bridge pin reaming takes a whole lot of time. And then I can get back here to the workshop and you know, get the nut fit and the saddle, and that's about it other than setup. I do need to do the fret work on it, or like the level and crowning and stuff, but I think I'm going to string it up as it is and just see. I don't know. I might not, but but it's so close. I'm so anxious to see what it sounds like. Yeah. So keep your fingers crossed. I was trying to get the video done for last weekend, but didn't quite get it. So it's going to be coming out this weekend, and that is basically the whole finishing process, as well as you know, the buffing and polishing and making the bridge. So that'll be out this weekend to get it up to almost where I am now. But yeah, I'm excited. But I want to get this done. That's really just, I've said it 1,000 times, I think, but I want to get this thing wrapped up so that I can clear it out of my head, because there's so many other things that I want to get to making. But right now that project is just clogging up my brain. You guys ever get that? Where there's something you're so focused on that you just want to get it done and get it out of the way. That way I can clear that off of my mental plate. If you know what I mean. So that's what I'm working on. But then I do want to get to building another electric. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do, but it's coming pretty quick. Let's see. Tony's here. Tony says, morning to everyone on this day, a day that will live in infamy. Yes, December 7th, 1941. It's D-Day here in the U.S. D-Day, if you're not familiar, not D-Day, Pearl Harbor Day, sorry. D-Day is June. Pearl Harbor Day. That's when Pearl Harbor was attacked and kind of brought us into the World War II. So, yeah, that's today. Donna's here. Donna says, good morning all. What's going on, Donna? How are you this fine Wednesday? How's your day going? Paul says, I actually re-enlisted in the Navy 1 year on December 7th. Site was the deck of the USS Missouri on the spot that the Japanese surrendered. It was cool. Oh, wow. Wow. That is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's something you don't hear a lot about. It seems like anymore. There's some people definitely mention it from time to time, but I really enjoy that particular era of U.S. history. World War II and all that. And I don't really know why, honestly. Maybe my grandfather served in the Army during World War II as an aircraft mechanic. So maybe there's that kind of connection or something like that. But I like that World War II history. Paul says it was in Bremerton, Washington at the time. Oh, the Missouri was? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Nice. Robert's here. Robert says, hello, everyone. A little late, but here. Robert, no worries, man. You made it. We waited for you, don't worry. Almost forgot. Got some hot coffee here. It's not super cold here this morning, but it's also, it's not super warm either, but I think we're supposed to be like in the 40s today or something like that, so it's not too bad. But I do have the heat. Hopefully you can't hear it whirring around here, blowing a little warm air on me. Paul says, only one survivor left. He's 101. I'll have a printing plate from when my dad had a newspaper with the headlines of Oahu bombed. Oh, wow. You got the plate. You should make some prints. I don't know what all's on the plate, but man, that would be kind of cool. Make some prints and probably sell those things. That's pretty awesome. Wow. You should send me a picture of it because that's kind of cool. Just do some hand rolled the ink and print stick it on some nice some sort of paper or canvas or something. That'd be kind of cool, man. Robert says, how's the CNC working out? So far so good. It has made its first project. I made can I grab it? Where is it? There it is. I see it. Hang on. Don't go anywhere. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to try not to trip over the thing. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. Don't worry. So, I made... It's a little dusty, but I lost something. What fell off? Oh, that piece of wood. Oh, let me grab it. I made this guy. Kind of simple, but this is a jig that I made for cutting the saddle slot. This was a design that was mentioned by Chris at CMR Woodworks, and there's a guy named Anders Westfall who has a free PDF of this, and I actually downloaded his PDF, redrew it in Fusion, and cut this out on the CNC. Not the knobs, I made those really quick, but yeah, you stick the bridge in here. This thing is adjustable, so you can adjust it to your whatever angle. These little blocks are just some stops, but yeah, this was the first actual project that I cut on the CNC. I didn't drill these holes on the CNC. I added these after the fact because I stuck the bridge down with double-sided tape, then drilled through the bridge pin holes, used some toothpicks as dowels, but I'd added these extra holes just in case I couldn't get the double-sided tape loose. I could go in through the back and kind of push it off of there. I didn't end up needing it, but yeah, it worked out really well. And I might make a couple modifications. I'd like to add some sort of adjustable end stops. For now, once I got everything set, I just double stick taped some blocks in there. But yeah, when the video comes out this weekend, you'll see a brief, you'll see this being cut. It's really sped up, but it's getting made on the machine. And I'm also going to put links to Anders' site where he has the plans for this in case you're looking for something like that. These things, you can buy these things. They're ridiculously expensive. I just made it. I mean, you definitely don't need a CNC machine to make it. I mean, it's just a couple of pretty easy cuts. You cut it out on the bandsaw, drill a couple holes, use a jigsaw or something to cut this out. But yeah, so far so good. There's a ton of other things that I want to make on there, and I'm working on slowly a few drawings for some of the stuff, as well as guitars. But again, it comes back to I want to get this acoustic done, and then we'll crank some more on the CNC. But so far, so good. Oh, Paul says, I'll send you a pic. Oh, right on. Paul says, it was a later printing plate, so not the raised lead type from that time frame, but one of the thin chemical plates used today. Oh, I'm not super familiar with those. Aren't those like a screen printing type of plate? I'm not sure. You might still be able to figure out how to make some prints from it. I think that'd be pretty cool. I'd hang that on my wall or something. Tony says, I served with a gunner's mate named Waldron on USS Edson, DD 946 in the early 80s. Waldron. Oh, Waldrop. Were you guys in together? That'd be pretty amazing. Adana says, still making hard candies and birdhouses for my craft show. Nice. What kind of hard candies? Like, I forget what they're called. What the heck are they called? Like all I can think of is like the ribbon candy kind of thing. Robert says, nice to be able to make something useful right off the bat with it. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Right when I got it up and running, I was getting to the point where I needed to cut the saddle slot, and I came across the plan for this, and I'm like, hey, that's going to be a good learning project for this machine. Let's put it right to work. Robert says, Gina, hello. Wait, Gina's here. How did I skip over that? Oh, my comment scrolled up. Good morning. EJO Guitar Repair. Joe, what's going on? Joe says, good morning, everyone. Joe here. What's up? What are you working on this fine Wednesday? Paul says, to Tony, I served 2 years in the Marines, the 10 years in the Navy riding submarines. Robert says, Gina, hello. Paul says, yes, the negative used to burn image on the plate. Then the ink is applied and transferred to a rubber roller to print on paper. Used to run a printing press at a daily newspaper. I have a fair bit of experience. I was never a pressman, like an operator of the press exactly, but when I worked in the corporate world, it was a manufacturing facility. Tons of presses. From the big, I don't know what it was, 6 color, 8 color, something like that. Big presses down to the small, the little small guys. So a little bit of experience, or at least exposure to it, but never at a newspaper. I've seen those machines, at the newspapers, and it's just, it's all roll fed, and it just winds and twists and goes everywhere. I've never I've not worked with any kind of, you know, like a roll fed. It's all been sheet fed. Neptune says, hello, Gina. Joe says, I'm still trying to dry wood in Florida. This seems like it would be hard to do, right? I honestly have never been to Florida, but I imagine the humidity down that way is fairly high. So I would think that it could be kind of hard to get wood to dry. Here where I live, our humidity is a lot of times it's in the teens or even the single digits. So really, you can get stuff to dry fairly decent. You know, they say about a year per inch of thickness. I found here anyway, in my climate, it's almost half that. I mean, it depends on the wood and, you know, how wet it is at the beginning anyway. But it dries down fairly quick. Robert says, Donna, what flavor of candies did you make? Gina says, hello, Robert and Neptune. Dastardly Dave. Sup, all? Sup, Dave? What are you up to, Dave? Donna says, peach, raspberry, cherry, watermelon, red hots. And I mixed them half and half. Oh. Says, hey, Gina. Dave says, hi, Robert. Joe says 65 to 75% for your average humidity. It's pretty high. Dave says, I used to make heat transfer rolls for those large printing presses. Like the rollers or like a heat transfer film? It's kind of cool. Robert says, Dan from Guns and Guitars already got a new, bigger CNC, large enough to cut 3 guitar bodies at a time. I saw that. I didn't get a chance to watch the video, but I saw it came up in my feed. And yeah, that first one that he got was kind of small. I mean, it seemed like it sort of worked. But that was my thought right off the bat, that, you know, he's gonna need a bigger one, and he did. That's one thing though, that the one that I got, I'd have to see how I could gang them on there, but I almost think you could do more than one at a time. But I definitely wanted one that's big enough to do you know, bodies and necks. And this one's large enough to do that. I don't know how many up I could do at a time though. I'm gonna have to play around with that. Still finalizing a couple things on the drawing. You know, and then I'll experiment around with that. Joe says, plan to build a kiln. Yeah, you know, have you guys seen those solar kilns some people are building? Where it's kind of almost a lean-to shed, an enclosed lean-to kind of shed thing. I don't know if that's probably not the right word for it, but it's basically a shed, and then you put those polycarbonate, like greenhouse type panels on there, and you know, they'll put like some fans, you know, little solar powered deals on there. Those are pretty cool, and really, it doesn't look like it would be all that expensive to build one. I mean, you know, it would still cost a fair bit probably, but in the grand scheme of things, they look fairly affordable to make. I think one of those would be kind of cool. Paul says, I grew up in the printing business, did everything except order stock. Wow. Print layout, news reporter, photographer, cameraman, and printing press. Joe says, as long as a CNC has a single cutting head, the building area size doesn't matter. I suppose the only time that would... The only time I can think of that the build size would make a difference is if it's incredibly small, right? You can't even fit your guitar body on there, I guess, maybe? Maybe I misunderstood. Whoop. But yeah, the one, I think, somebody correct me if you've seen it. I think the CNC that Dan got first, I want to say it wasn't even big enough to put one of his base bodies on there, if I remember correctly. And he had to do some sort of careful cutting to make it work. Paul says, I have a solar kiln on the side of my shop. Takes a little longer, but works. Spent around $300 on mine. Yeah, see, there you go. Paul's got one. Yeah, I mean, you know, a little bit of framing materials, or you know, maybe some repurposed something, something for sort of a solar, you know, the window thing, and maybe a fan or two. I've seen people put dehumidifiers in there. That might help a little, but if you do it all solar, which I know you are, Paul, yeah, really not a whole lot to it. Someday I think I might want to build one of those myself. Dave says it's a large roll that either cools or heats what you run over it. Hot oil or cool water runs through it, used in printing presses and plastic sheet manufacturing. Huh, I don't remember. Well, maybe ours didn't have that, the machines we had. But I definitely could see that for plastic manufacturing. Keep it flexible for whatever. Joe says that's right. Yeah. Robert says to Joe EGO, I watch a YouTube channel called Out of the Woods, and he has a sawmill and a kiln, pretty full lumber mill on a small scale. I've seen his stuff. For some reason, though, I haven't seen anything recently from him. I used to watch a lot of his videos. I might have to go back and see why. I'm quite certain I was subscribed, but I have heard that people are getting unsubscribed from different things. I don't know if that's really a thing or if that's just what people are saying to try to get people to go back and subscribe. But yeah, he's got a pretty cool operation. The last one I saw, I think, is when he got that super fancy, like the highest model of mill. So it's been a little while. Joe says, I have a Shapeoko XL cutting area 4x2. Cool. Yep, mine is 32 by 32 cut area, roughly. It's like 32 and an eighth or something, or 32 and a half. I don't know. But 32 by 32, so, you know, plenty enough room for necks and bodies and who knows what all else. Paul says, 2 fans, 1 intake, 1 exhaust. And the clear material used for greenhouses. Has a wooden base that I stack wood on. It takes about 2 weeks to dry the cedar before we use it for guitar bodies. 2 weeks isn't that long, really, I don't think. It's actually pretty quick. I know, like, you know, the larger, you know, actual kilns, you know, the either electric or, you know, the actual powered kilns. Those things take a while as well. So I don't think 2 weeks is very long at all. I mean, I'd have thought more like 2 months maybe. So if you're getting it dry in 2 weeks, that's pretty cool. Paul says it's almost as big as my shop. Well, when it's super cold out, you go and work in there. Cool. So, yeah, I think that's what's going on here. Like I said, acoustic guitar stuff. I don't even have anything in process or anything like that to show you. Because everything's sort of cleaned up. Once I got the acoustic out of here, did a little bit of cleaning up, and it's, you know, I'm preparing for getting it done. Robert says he puts videos out pretty often. Yeah, he now has 2 different size tractors to move around the wood and logs around, move the wood and logs around, and a full workshop to process the lumber into usable lumber. Yeah, I haven't. It's been a while then, because I haven't seen any of that stuff. The one that I saw, he had that shop, you know, where he'd moved into that new place, and he had the kind of not pole barn, but that metal, like, hoop garage thing or something. Maybe he's moved since then. I gotta check it out. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. Yeah, I always liked his stuff. Yep, I have to do some milling as well. I got a big log that I've had out here. I started milling on it in one of the YouTube videos, I think early this year. I got to get back to it. If you guys remember that, it was a big giant thing, you know, with a lot of figured wood. I don't even have a sample to show you for what it looks like, but I started milling it with the chainsaw mill in the YouTube video, and since then I haven't gotten back to cutting it up. But I've been mighty curious as to what kind of wood it is. It was, you know, just at an old ranch farm thing about 30 minutes from here, and I was getting some barn beams from there, and this log was there, and you could see the figure in the side. The lady said, "Get it out of here, get it out of here." So we loaded it up, brought it home. You could see the figure in the outside. I mean, all the bark was off it, but you could see the figure. So I knew it would be something cool. But I really didn't know for sure what it was. At first I thought maybe a maple, but it didn't quite seem like a maple. But what I ended up doing was sending a sample off. I don't know if you guys know you can do this. You can send a sample to the, I think it's the U.S., might be the U.S. Forest Service. Maybe it's the Park Service. I can't remember, but there's a place. Well, at least here in the U.S. anyway. There's a place you can send it off to for free, where they will analyze it and tell you what it is. So I took an offcut of this, you know, little scrap piece, and I sent it off to them, and it came back, and they don't tell you exactly the species, but it came back saying it was populus, right? So like a poplar in that genre, in that species. So my best guess is that this is probably cottonwood, because I believe cottonwood is in that as well. And that's the only thing that, like we have poplar, no, we have aspen here. But as far as I know, we don't have poplar in my area. I could be wrong. There might be some here and there, but we do have cottonwood. So my guess is this big giant log is like quilted cottonwood, which is, it looks pretty cool. So I might have to I'm gonna have to get that thing milled back up. Milled back up? No, I haven't milled it yet, so I can't mill it back up. So I want to get back to milling that and maybe make a guitar body out of it. Quilted cottonwood. Wonder how that would be as a neck. I've got a chunk that's quarter sawed. Well, if I could quarter saw it. Wonder if that's enough. Wonder if that's strong enough. What do you think? Cottonwood? Like a poplar? I think it would be. Oh, let's see. Robert says he just finishing up a new pole barn where he moved his machines into. That's cool. Desperately Dave says picked up a Makita compact router kit. I need to mod a telly to fit Charlie Christian pickups. Cool. Yeah, the Makitas are pretty good. That's what my CNC machine uses, a Makita router. The smaller diameter Makita router. It's the compact one. I don't remember the number now, but it's like a 1 1/4 horse router, and so far it works really good. The one thing I do like about that Makita router, I don't know if yours is the same way, if it's the same model, it's fairly quiet. You guys know, if you've used a router, like, they're ridiculously loud, right? When you turn them on, they're just like that screaming, This Makita one still has that note, that same note to it, but it seems a little bit quieter to me, which I kind of like. I can run the CNC machine with the dust collector. It's not a huge dust collector, one of those wall mount deals, that you get at like Rockler or something. I can run that and the CNC, and if I do it without ear protection, it's not that loud. Like I can be in here doing stuff, and it's not excruciatingly loud. if I run a normal router, I won't do it without hearing protection. So when I first fired up the CNC machine, I put my earmuffs on and everything, and I turned it on and let it go. And then I'm like, let me just see how loud this is. And I took them off, and I was fairly impressed that it wasn't painfully loud. Paul says, I love watching Chris Harbour from England. He does most of his building stuff himself, build his own sawmill, build his house and shop using raw lumber and cob material, solar, wind, hydropowered. That's cool. I feel like I've come across his channel before. I'll have to double check that. Sempak and Rick is here. Rick says, good morning, Jeff and everyone. Late again. No worries, Rick. We still got some hot coffee here. You got plenty of time. Glad you made it. How's your day going so far? Did you get a bunch of snow up there? Robert says, to Dave, Makita make good machines. I agree with that. Paul says, cottonwood, not strong enough for neck. Maybe reinforce with carbon fiber and it will work. See, I almost always now put carbon fiber rods along with my truss rod in all of my necks. I like that rigidity that you get. I even did that on the Acoustic. It's got a two-way truss rod and 2 carbon fiber rods, and the neck is made out of Padauk, and it's fairly rigid. I might try it just for fun, because I think it would be, I don't know, it'd be kind of. I think it'd make a cool-looking guitar though, if I made the neck and a body out of this quilted cottonwood. Joe says, Makita and DeWalt are both good. Yes, I agree. And Bosch. Man, what's going on here? Excuse me, sorry about that. I like the Bosch routers too. Most of my routers are Bosch. I have the one cordless, the rigid one, and the Makita that's on the CNC. Dave says, thanks, Robert. Yes, 1 1/4 horse. Corded. I figure I should buy a good router once. Yes, that's probably the same one that my machine is, my CNC is made to fit. Paul says, I have 3 Palm routers, 2 Makitas, and a Bosch Colt. Bought it for $5 on eBay. A guy put it on auction, no reserve, and I was the only one to bid on it. Had free shipping. Felt bad. That's a steal, though. Holy cow. I see what you mean. It's like $5 and free shipping. So he didn't make a penny on that, because seems like anything you ship now, if it's in a box, it's going to cost at least $7 to $8 on up. I've been doing a fair bit of 3D printing for some people, and every order that I ship out, it's about $8 to $11 depending on where it's going, and it's just a little, I don't know, 6x6 box, something like that. So yeah, I can imagine that the router probably costs $12 to $15 to ship. Rick says, I just bought a 2.5 horse rigid router and a Jessam lift. Mine's pretty quiet. Is the big rigid, is it pretty quiet? Paul says, I have 2 big Bosch routers for my table and hand routing. I have the Bosch, what is that, 1617? I think there's the number on it, which I really like. I think it's a 2 horse, somewhere around there. And it's pretty loud. And I usually table mount that. I use that for, template routing and that sort of thing. But I also have a couple of the Bosch Colts. One of them is mounted in a table on the side of my drill press. And the other one I just have freehand, for doing stuff. Yeah, I really like the Bosch routers. I've not had any issues with it. I haven't had to replace brushes or anything yet. Knock on wood. Rick says, changed to rain Oh, change to rain now. Snow is disappearing fast. Yeah, funny how that works. Robert says to Paul, oh, Matt Cremona built his really big sawmill and just enlarged the bed of his sawmill so he can cut logs up to 5 foot in diameter and about 12 to 14 feet long. I saw where he posted something about about extending that thing. That mill's that mill's pretty cool. Paul says, Robert, that's cool. Never seen one of his videos myself. Yeah, Matt puts out some pretty decent stuff. I don't get a chance to watch every single thing that comes out, but I do follow him on Instagram. So he posts regular updates there, and he just built like a big old barn. Man, sorry guys, my throat. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, I watched the series where he built that log trailer, to haul the logs with his log hoop arch thingy. And that was pretty cool. Rick says, my plunge router is a Bosch. Joe says, gotta go guys, talk to you next time. Have a nice day. Right on, Joe. We will talk to you later, man. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back here on YouTube in 2 weeks. Next week we'll be on Facebook for now. Robert says, most of my wireless machines are DeWalt and just bought a Triton router. Also have DeWalt routers, one in permanently mounted table with a lift. Yeah, a lift would be pretty awesome. Paul says, I've had my Bosch router in a table and use it several hours a week for the past 7 years. Had one issue, replaced brushes. Never had any other issue. Gina says, hope you're not catching the crud. Yeah, me too. It's just like, I don't know. It doesn't hurt or anything. Just a little something. Robert says, have a good one, Joe. Watch and learn. Thomas is here. What's up, man? Gina says, have a good one, Joe. Oh, I kicked you guys. Sorry about that. How'd I do that? Oh, Thomas, what are you up to this fine Wednesday? Oh, let's see. Yeah, routers. Hey, that was a good topic that we didn't intend to chat about, but that's what's so awesome about the lives. Harry Dude says, got 2 GMC plunge routers, a stupid green Ryobi trim router, and an old Makita in my router table. They all scream like banshees. Yes! It's crazy how loud the routers will get. Now the GMC ones, is that actually, who makes those? Every time I think of GMC, I just think of, General Motors. Do they actually make routers? Yeah, and they all of them seem just crazy loud. Even my cordless, I think it's a brushless one. I think it's pretty loud. But so when I compare the noise levels of all the other ones to the Makita, the Makita's quieter. I'm certain of it. Sam Packin says, I'm looking forward to using the router lift, but busy on the hab build right now. Yeah, it's going to be a nice addition, the router lift in there. It really is. Thomas is working on guitars. Right on. Robert says to Paul, it's nice when tools work like they're supposed to and work for a long time. Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a drag. Like when you buy something and, it doesn't seem to last all that long. A switch goes out, brushes go out or something like that. Thankfully, for the most part, the routers, they're pretty easy to change out the brushes. They got those little caps on the side. You just pull them out, pull the brushes out, put in new, and screw them back on. Really not that bad. One thing that comes to mind that kind of bugs me, that I need to fix, and I just remembered, our vacuum cleaner. It's one of those Dyson ones, which were supposed to be like pretty good or something. The power button like doesn't click and stay engaged. So, it's not super old. I mean, we've had it for quite a few years, but they haven't been around all that long. And I'm, now I got to replace the switch, and this stuff like that. I'm glad that these routers don't typically, wear out within a few years. So, yeah, you guys ever have that? Like you buy something that's supposed to be good quality, and then like a switch or something goes out. So now I gotta fix a vacuum cleaner. Neptune says, I'm gonna have to replay this. My contractor came in and I missed a bunch. Yeah, we were wondering where you went. Harry Dude says, GMC used to be a pretty common brand of power tools. Nothing spectacular in quality, probably around Ryobi quality. Okay. Senpakin says, Rigid has a lifetime warranty. Yes, if you register it. It's the way I understand it. And I have actually taken advantage of that lifetime warranty. And I forgot about that, talking about switches going out. My cordless Rigid trim router, it got to where the switch, I'd have to jimmy it back and forth a couple of times to get it to turn on. So I took it to Rigid, or I took it to the, back to Home Depot, and they sent it off, and it got all fixed up. But yeah, I forgot about that. I did have an issue with that one, with the switch, but it's been working fine ever since. So I don't know if there was something wrong with it. It was kind of a defective kind of deal or something. But yeah, that is the only problem that I've had. Yeah. Thomas says, I have 3 routers. I think you can't have too many routers. Routers are like guitars, right? You can't have too many guitars. And Neptune says, I have like 5 routers, but they're the internet type. I think I do too. They're not all hooked up, but one, yeah. I got a couple stashed away in a box somewhere. Robert says, I have DeWalt track saw that works well, but I've still been able to cut thins. Oh, the thing's way out of square somehow. The measure, cut, and still not right. Dang it. I hate it when that happens. Senpakin says, I'm registered with my Rigid table saw and my new router. Nice. Yes, definitely register it, because the way I understand it, I could be wrong, is that's the only way you get lifetime warranty is if you register it through their thing, which you have to you have to create an account and set up the thing there, but it's a little bit of a pain. But to get the extended warranty, it's it's kind of worth it. Harry Dude says, stupid Ryobi trim router with its silly clear plastic mount and plate, badly designed, very fragile. Note to self, don't buy a Ryobi trim router. Robert says, me as well. Let's see. Watch and Learn says, I like changing routers instead of router bits. I do too. And in a perfect world, I'd have a whole shelf. And I'd just say, oh, I need this straight cutting bit. Oh, I need this 1/8 inch bit. Oh, I need this roundover bit. Oh, now I need this shorter template bit. Oh, I need this chamfering bit. That would be a perfect world and a huge time saver. Not the cheapest way to go about things, but it would be pretty cool. You got 6 or 8 routers all hanging on the wall. You just grab the one you need. I mean, that would be how I would do it if I could. Same thing with the CNC. You just have different routers. You know, you don't have I don't have an automatic tool changer, but if you just swap out the it's not hard to change the bits on that though. It's actually easier on that than it is on the regular trim router. You know, the trim router, you gotta work around the base or take the base off. This one, the bit's just hanging there. You just go in and loosen it. But probably would be harder actually on that to change the router out. Senpakin said it's dead easy. Just need your receipt with the info there. Yeah, I don't remember it being hard. The only thing that I don't like is it was another account that I had to remember to keep track of. And I don't know about you guys, but you know, after 4 or 5 different accounts, it's hard to remember. Well, what was my login? What was my password for this one? Have to have a login and password for everything now. Hair Dude says in a perfect world, I'd have 3 or 4 router tables. Oh, yes. Yes. Same. Guilty. I mean, a perfect world for me would be to have 1 right now. I mean, I sort of do. But mine, I sort of built it into the side of my table saw so that I had some room around the shop. But yeah, a couple router tables with a bunch of different routers, it would be ideal. Neptune says, I got a full-size Bosch router when I was working at Lowe's. It was used for some break room tables. Got it for 40 bucks. Nice, you can't beat that. 40 bucks sounds like a good deal to me. And it's the Bosch. I like them. I don't know what it is about the Bosch. Kind of like this coffee. I like it. Gina says, a perfect world is to have a big shop for all the things. Oh, good call. Yeah. You can't have 3 or 4 router tables if I have nowhere to put them. Yeah, good call. You topped us all. Yep. I've been outdone. Let's see. Rick says, is Bosch German made? That could be why they last. I believe so. I think, well, at least Bosch used to be a German brand that I know of. Pretty sure it's probably still the same. But that could be why. And maybe why I like Bosch. I used to have a German car for a little while and kind of got to liking all the things about it. Robert says, unfortunately, there are so many bits that could be used. I just bought a set of locking miter router bits that I want to try out. They came with a little thing to make a little to make the setup easier. I know what you mean, the little setup gauge deal. Yeah, there's so many specialty bits, and those I can't really account for those, but you know, because there's just so many of them. So maybe you have all your fixed setup routers, and then you have 1 or 2 where you can just swap out for the specialty cuts. Paul says, took my saw stop job site saw off the stand and built a place for it on my router table. Now it takes up less room, and the router table is used as an extension of the saw. Nice. How do you like that job site saw? Is that one, that's not one of the brand new ones, is it? Or is it one of the ones that they just came out with? What's that little one they just came out with? Is that the job site, or is that like the contractor saw or something? Someday I'm going to need to replace this old table saw that I've been using, and that's kind of what I've been thinking about, like one of those little saw stop ones. It's nowhere near in the future at the moment. This one works for what I need, but yeah. Neptune says, probably German designed and Chinese made. Can't tell today anymore. It used to be a German brand. I don't have a router handy. Or wait, maybe I do. Hang on. I'm going to duck down here and grab this router. No, it's not down there. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's covered in dust. Does it say on here? Here's my 1617. It's out of the thing right now, but see if it says on here. It says Mount Prospect, Illinois, assembled in USA. Interesting. That doesn't say anything about Germany. Huh. Who knew? Assembled in USA. You guys see me looking at that? I'm kind of like... my eyes aren't quite... let's see. Paul says, not the new one. I have the Job Site Pro. Good saw, but chintzy miter gauge. Cuts anything I need to cut. Paul says, didn't like the price too much, but cheaper than a trip to the ER and loss of fingers. Yes, exactly. Rick says, you probably talked about it, but how's your CNC going, Jeff? So far, so good, Rick. I showed it at the beginning. It made this saddle slotting jig so I could cut the saddle slot on the Acoustic. This was the first actual project that it made. But yeah, it's so far so good. I've got several projects that I'm working on getting drawn up that I'm going to be using on the machine. Right now, my focus, I'm days away from finishing the Acoustic. So I'm trying to get that done right now, and then we'll get some more things running on the CNC. Like I mentioned earlier, I need to get this Acoustic done and get it off my mental plate. It's taken up too much space on my plate. You know how like imagine if you were making soup and you instead of putting the soup in a bowl, you poured it onto your plate and it just flooded everywhere. That's this Acoustic in my brain. How's that for an analogy? Yeah, so we'll be getting back to that pretty quick, but man, it worked awesome for this jig. It's so cool that you can draw something up, design it, and then the machine cuts it out. Everybody, well, not everybody, you guys know. A lot of people feel like, oh, the machine's cheating, it does the work for you. Well, it's not like you just talk to it like it's one of those Alexa things, right? And you just say, hey, CNC machine, cut me a saddle slotting jig, and it just, woo, it does its thing. It doesn't work that way. Not even close. You can turn it on, and it's just going to sit there and stare at you until you give it a specific set of instructions and tell it what to cut out. I never quite understood. You know, some people get so CNC, no. But I really believe that it's because they don't understand the process. Honestly, I can't think of any other way, because it is absolutely not something that you just turn on and the machine does all the work. You know, yes, it does the cutting for you, but you have to design everything correctly on the computer. Clicky, 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 clicky. Which really, like, I could have probably cut this out by hand faster than it took me to draw it up. I mean, the machine, it was done in, I don't know, 35 minutes or something like that. But the time that I spent designing it and, you know, of course, I'm still learning a few things there, here and there, but once it's done, it's done. You can make as many as you want. Robert says to Paul, that is true. Did not lose any fingers, but did whittle my thumb on a table saw. Don't want to go through that again. No, I don't want anybody to go through that again. That's the thing about the saw stop. Man, they're just stupid expensive. But knowing that in the event of an accident, that you're likely going to be okay. I say likely because you never know what's going to happen, I guess. But there's a bit of comfort in that. Right? Because, you know, for those of us that use our hands to make things, you know, if you're missing some, that's pretty hard to do what you need to do. So to me, it's worth the money. And I'm not a SawStop, you know, fanboy or anything like that. I'm not mad at them or anything. It's just, you know, it is really expensive, but I also think that it's an extra piece of insurance that can save you a lot of money and pain and everything in the future. So I feel like for me that's a way to go when the time comes to replace the table saw. Paul says, I looked at the smaller model before I built a new stand. Didn't like it as much. My saw goes from 0 to full blade in 1 turn. Took 22 turns on the new saw. Has a DeWalt style fence. That is cool. Interesting, 22 turns. Mine's probably about that. It takes forever. You have that little wheel and you're crankety, 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 crank. But, yeah. Rick says, nice. Any news on putting together a binding jig for sale? That is upcoming. Yes, I want to do those binding towers that I made. I'm doing some revisions, and I want to work on. I need to get back on that. Again, once this dang acoustic is done. Of course, then I'm going to start right into the next acoustic, but I'm not going to be doing that one in a build series necessarily. So that one will be kind of, you know, the after hours kind of projects that I can finish up what I need to do and then go bend some sides. And then I can, you know, at the end of the day or, you know, that one will be less pressure. Not that this one's pressure, but I want to get it done because it is a video series and I want to just wrap it up. But yes, Rick, I do intend to make a few binding jigs and probably put a few of them out there for sale. I can't give you an exact timeline yet, but I'm fairly certain that it will not be this month. January at the earliest. Because, you know, there's been a couple people that have been somewhat interested in those too. So I do want to implement a couple of changes and probably just build a couple of them. Paul says, no CNC. I do computer stuff for a living. Don't need another computer program to do my woodworking. Yeah, that's totally fair, Paul. I totally get it. Oh, speaking of computer, do you guys remember last week, 2 weeks ago? I can't remember exactly. Within the last couple of weeks, my buddy Christopher Chaos was on, and we were talking about live stream stuff, and you know, things that I can do. You know, I want to try to improve the live stream, and we were talking about OBS and all that. Well, my buddy Chaos hooked up gave me an old used laptop of his. I mean, it's 6-8 years old. That I'm going to be working on getting ready to use for some of the live streams, so that maybe I can use different cameras and different this, that, and the other thing, and we'll be improving the live stream here probably. I don't know, maybe by the end of the year or in January. Now, the laptop that he gave me is a little bit older one, totally functional and everything, except the screen is going wonky. So something's weird on that. So right now I've got it dropped off with a computer guy, and he's going to see about replacing the screen. I thought about doing it myself, but after looking into it, there's several different versions. And knowing my luck, I'd get the wrong version and then have a hassle trying to return it and get the correct version. So there's a local guy here that he's going to check it out and see if he can find a screen for it and swap that in there. But hopefully soon we'll be trying some different things for the live stream, which I'm pretty excited about. Let's see. Robert says, doing the design and figuring out the software is not all that easy on the CNC. I agree. I'm using Fusion 360 for all of it. I'm not using a different program, you know, to create the G code. I'm doing everything through Fusion. And again, that's, you know, I've been using Fusion and learning Fusion for the last, year, almost 2 years maybe now, when I got the 3D printer. So thankfully, I've had a fair bit of time to spend in Fusion. It's just the cam side now that I really have been learning and trying to get things figured out. But yeah, I mean, there's there's a considerable investment, not necessarily in money, but in time at learning the software and how to make everything work. So, and I think, like I had talked about a second ago, I think that's a piece that a lot of people don't consider. Oh, it's so easy, CNC, whatever the argument is, right? But they don't see the hours and weeks and months of time that you've spent learning how to use that software. Yeah, totally agree. Paul says, if I wasn't worried about whacking off a finger, I'd get one of those Delta saws that Lowe's sells. Love those saws. Yeah, I always liked the Delta cabinet saws and like the Powermatic cabinet saws. I've used them. I've used both of them in the past, and they're great. They're big and heavy and sturdy, and there's no vibration. But yeah, that's it's that it's a 3-horse or bigger motor, and that sucker, it kicks. You don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, so I agree that having the saw stop functionality would definitely be beneficial. Rick says, I'm going to need one for my Les Paul build. Maybe you'll have one in the new year. Yeah, I think I will at some point. Rick says, the fellow that was going to CNC the Hab build, but he was overwhelmed and changed his mind on doing it for me. Had it done by hand in a day, start to finish. Yeah, see, it'd probably take longer than that to draw it up correctly. Robert says, oh yeah, Matt Cremona and a female woodworker, who I can't remember her name, went to the UK. That was April Wilkerson. Went to the UK and built guitars at Crimson a couple years ago. I remember that. Yep, Matt and April. Yep, that was pretty cool. Anyway, well guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up. And I got to hit the road and get down to Zimbelman Guitars and get the bridge pins reamed out on the Acoustic so that I can get that thing together, because it's that close. Now, Robert says it'd be nice if SawStop sold the safety cartridge to retrofit other saws. Yeah, it would be. I got to believe that there's more to it than just a cartridge. They're going to have some sort of a linkage, to pull the blade down. And yeah, I just don't think it's probably as easy as it sounds. But something like that would be awesome. Rick says, yeah, you worked on the design for a couple days and still didn't finish it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. There's some time investment when you're doing that kind of thing. Paul says, have a great week. Gina says, have a great day all. Sam Packin says, have a good day, folks. Take care. Neptune says, have a good day, everyone. Harry Dude, catch you next week. Folks, stay well. Right on, guys. Thank you so much. Before you leave, though, hit that thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. Tell all your friends. Tell all your neighbors. Next week, we will be on Facebook. Fingers crossed that we don't have issues. So I hope to see you guys there. If not, we'll be back here on YouTube in 2 weeks. What's that going to be, like the 16th or 15th or something like that? And we'll catch you all then. Henry just tuned in. Oh, sorry, Henry. Henry says, missed it. Dang it. Henry, I hope you're doing good today, buddy. Robert says, everyone have a great week. Stay safe and healthy. Right on, guys. Thanks a lot. Stay tuned this week for another update in the acoustic guitar build this weekend on the YouTube channel. Thanks a lot, guys. Stay safe. Stay well. Thanks for watching.